Welcome to my podcast. My name is Corrinala, and I come to you from the Pacific Northwest, where I live with my husband, 2 horses that I adopted from the Bureau of Land Management Wildhorse Adoption Program, and 2 kitties we adopted from the local animal shelter. Information about these adoption programs will be in the show notes for every episode. The purpose of this podcast is to share real-life stories that hopefully are relatable to other crafters who might be interested in horses. The format of this podcast starts with a walk to the barn to feed the horses, catch up on the week, share my knitting projects, and other interests like bicycling or hiking. I also talk about vegetable gardening and cooking. I hope you bring your favorite beverage and a fun, crafty project to work on. Enjoy! Good morning, friends. Happy Friday, July 31st, 2026. It is, I don't know, maybe about 6:30 in the morning. It's supposed to be a beautiful day today. Thanks for joining me on the walk out to the barn. I did get my knitting mojo back, so I have some things to share with you. I have a finished object. I restarted a project that I frogged. So what else is going on? I wound up some yarn to start more socks because I will be commuting to work again next week and need more socks to keep myself amused on the buses and trains. What else is going on? We're still dealing with the issue with the cats. We've tried a very slow reintroduction. They are on some pretty heavy-duty meds, which I don't love that, but that's kind of what's happening right now. Hopefully that's not the long-term solution. What else is going on? I only have 2 more days of Odin's 4-week rehab program, so that seems to be going well. And I will continue his rehab program. I signed up for riding lessons at Warm Beach Christian Camp for this fall, starting in September. So looking forward to that. I mean, I'm hoping Odin will be ready to ride this fall. We'll see. And Bragi's continuing his training. I'm expecting my trainer to come out today and work with him to keep advancing his education. So both boys are looking at me with, let's see, where's Bragi? See if I'm going the wrong way. Where'd you go? Oh, there you are, brown horse. Brown horse is hard to see. And there's O. So I'm going to get to feeding, and I look forward to sharing my crafty projects with you later. Hello again, friends. I hope you have something nice to drink and maybe a crafty project to work on while we catch up. I'm still drinking tea, green tea, as a matter of fact. But what am I wearing? Well, this is the Traveler. And this is a project I finished earlier this year. As you might recall, I had some major bouts of yarn chicken with this, but I worked it out by knitting the sleeves in this color and the hood. The Traveler is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. It was super fun to knit. It's very squishy. It's warm. And why on a end of July morning would I be wearing something like this? Because it's chilly out. The last few mornings, it has really felt like fall, at least in the morning. I'm still going out there to the barn, out there, outside wearing a long sleeve shirt. I haven't put on a vest because I'm moving around and I get warm pretty easily. All that to say, there is just a distinct temperature change, at least in the morning. It'll warm up quite a bit this afternoon. I think it's supposed to get in the maybe upper 70s, which I know for some of you probably sounds very cool. For us, it just feels warm. The sun's pretty intense in the Pacific Northwest this time of year. So it can, in certain places, in the sunny spots, it can feel really warm. So I don't expect to be wearing this for very long, just while I am sitting here podcasting and enjoying your company. What's new? Well, this last week was better than the previous week. The weather was nice. It wasn't too hot. I mean, it gets really warm in the house in the afternoon because everything's west facing, and that's when the sun is the most intense. We're getting used to the cats and their routine. They're getting used to it. We wish that we knew how to deal with their hostility. I think it's Harley's hostility against Herbert. Herbert is very needy and he takes up a lot of space. He's a bigger cat. He outweighs Harley by about 6 pounds, which is a lot. So we just don't know how to solve all their problems. So as I talked about on the walk this morning, they're on some pretty heavy duty drugs. I don't love that. I mean, that's just kind of turns them into mush minds. But at night, I've been sleeping in the guest room to give Harley some people time, because otherwise he's in the basement all day, which he seems to like. And Herbert is upstairs, so he has more run of the house. And then at night, Herbert goes into our bedroom and stays with Randy. And the reason why we did it that way is because Harley was getting literally no time with either of us. And boy, does he like to snuggle. So I know the separation's been really difficult for him. And I have to say, it's obviously, since I brought it up in the first 4 minutes of this episode, it's been really difficult for me. I'm not sure. I think it's been worse for Harley and me than it has been for anybody else. So we'll try to figure it out. Well, let's talk about knitting, shall we? So I said I got my knitting mojo back, so I want to share with you what I have been working on. I totally forgot my finished object. It's right there. I'll get it. Okay, so I have for you the Practically Perfect socks it's patterned by KF Jones. It's her Summer of Stitching, probably a patron only pattern, so it's hard to see with this yarn, but there is a little bit of a lace detail, and then otherwise it's plain stockinette knitting. So the colorway is Kentucky Derby, and it's a woolen women colorway, and I totally miscalculated the yarn. So the foot had to be part of this contrast color. You can see I kind of faded it in a few rows, and the contrast color is by Emma's Yarns, and it is in the colorway Nightshade. So I think one of the reasons why I ran out of yarn so early is that I did the cuffs and the heels in the main color. So if I had done the cuffs and the heels in this contrast color, my socks might be more even. Does anyone care? I doubt it. So I'm just really thrilled to, after as much as I struggled with knitting the previous 2 weeks, I'm just thrilled to have a finished object. I use ChowGoo red lace, not ChowGoo red lace. I use ChowGoo mini twists in the 9-inch circulars in the, I think it's 2.5 millimeters is the size, because maybe it's 2.25, because normally when I knit magic loop I use US size 0, which is 2 millimeter. So that's that. Let me show you some other socks that I had been working on. I have 2 pairs of socks that I'm working on. So this could be a little bit light on the knitting content. So this is in an old purse, which is perfect for socks. And in fact, if people, I don't walk and knit, and especially this pattern, but this would actually be a really good one to do that, because you can just put it over your shoulder and, you know, do your knitting. But I don't do that. I need to watch where I'm going when I walk. So this has the 2 at a time, toe up 2 at a time socks, and I am on the heel. So this is the pattern. It's by Knit Picks. I believe it was a free pattern. So I am using a self-striping yarn that I repurposed, or it was leftovers from something. So this is what they look like. So I've done the foot. Let's see if I can show this properly, and then I'm on the heel. And I would say I'm about maybe halfway done with the heel. So it's been kind of fun. I do have to concentrate a little bit just to keep the balls of yarn separate. This little candy cane marker is for, one, to let me know which side was the foot or the sole part of the sock. Why is that? Oh, there we go. And then the other part is just for people who celebrate Christmas in July, which I don't really celebrate, but I do nod toward it. So that is that pair, and those are ChowGoo red lace size 0. So I think I am pretty much exactly halfway. I am a little concerned about how much yarn. These could be very short socks. So this is the amount of yarn I have left for each sock. So after I get through the heel, I did not choose a contrast color, but who knows? Maybe the cuff will have to be in a contrast color. So we'll see. I will weigh the yarn after I am done videoing. Speaking of videoing, I did finally figure out my Mac computer. I had a password problem, and there's good instructions on the Apple website on how to reset your password. So I may have explained this last time, but I got my computer a couple weeks ago. I set it up, and then I put it down. I promptly put it down, didn't touch it for a couple weeks. Well, you need to remember your password. Did I remember my password? No. And I went round and round and round. And then I got really frustrated with trying to follow the instructions with the reset. What I didn't realize is that there was another option if you kept reading further down, but I was trying to go through like the 4 ways to reinstall or whatever, which I didn't have any of those things. And that was confusing me, and I thought I was at a stumbling block. So I made an appointment with Best Buy, the Geek Squad. But then we have a friend who is a Mac user, and she's very smart about computers. I mean, I just want the darn thing to work. I don't really care to go into the details of how things work or why this is better than that. I just want it to work. I want it to be easy and convenient. But she helped me through it. And, you know, it took a 20-minute phone call where we were both reading the directions and me trying things, and then yay, it worked. So what I haven't done is I haven't figured out how to use iMovie on it yet. So maybe that's something I'll do this weekend. I think I still have some video from when I filmed Odin and during the first week of his rehab program, so I could probably mess around with that. So anyway, that is where that is. what else should I show you? Oh, let me show you this pair of socks. So this is in a bag that this is the prototype bag made by my husband. He has an industrial sewing machine. It's felt lined, and it has like a, what do you call this stuff? It's just kind of a woven nylon handle. And these socks are by Sofia Carlson, and they were a mystery sock knit along. So it's called Sophia's Tales Sock Mystery Knit Along, and I believe this was from around Advent time in 2023. Well, I really like the socks. They're a broken rib sock. So I have been using some repurposed yarn for these, and it's been super fun. So this yarn is from a long, it was a long sock, color work sock that I ripped out, and I just tied everything into a magic knot ball, and I'd kind of forgotten I'd done that. And so this is how it's working up, and it's really fun actually seeing how the colors play out. I'm on the heel flap. And again, I think I'm about halfway through. So row 16, yep, definitely halfway through. Chogu red lace, US size 0. I weighed the ball of yarn yesterday, and they're still over 50 grams, so I think I'm pretty good. The leg, I don't remember what the cuff length is. It's not that long, but the leg length is 30 rows. So I have that much yarn left with more colors to come. So that's been really fun. These might be my next bust knitting socks. I'm not sure. Like I said, on the walk to the barn, I wound up a bunch of yarn yesterday, mostly sock yarn. And I kind of have things sitting over here ready to go for when I need them. But the big reveal is the sock arms cardigan that is no longer a cardigan. So the sock arm cardigan is a pattern from this book, Knit Happy with Self-Striping Yarn. And it is supposed to be a cardigan, obviously. That looks like this. Well, my yarn was 2 different dye lots because I bought them at they're commercial yarn. It's Knit Picks. I think it's gloss. And it was really obvious when I was knitting the body. Plus, I decided to, at a point that was too late in the project, I decided to turn it into a pullover rather than a cardigan. So I had this kind of strange little V-neck that I thought I could work out how to do the ribbing to make it work, but it wasn't working. I'm just not that clever about sorting things out. So I ripped it all out, and I saved the sleeves. The sleeves are on try-on tubing, and this is the bag made by my husband. This was for a Christmas present he gave me a couple of years ago, and I am, because of the 2 different dye lots, I am alternating, and I am making a circular yoke. So I borrowed the stitch count from a color work pattern that's in that same book. So I cast on the number of stitches, did the ribbing, did the short rows. I think the short rows are back here. And then I have been alternating skeins of yarn. So I can still see a bit of a color difference, but hopefully it will blend enough. So the 2 balls of yarn are here, and I don't know if you can see the difference, but this one is bluer than this one. So that's what I'm doing. I have more yarn to contribute to this project, but hopefully I have enough. So we'll see. The saga of this lives on. I am using Chogu red lace, size 4, so US size 4, so it's 3.5 millimeters. All the markers they are just to show me when I need to do the increases for the circular yoke. And I am about not quite a third of the way through the circular yoke. So this could end up being very cropped. I'm not sure what it's going to be like. I still have some that I need to frog. It's just a little bit. Hopefully I won't need it, but here it is in case I do. So that has been my morning knitting before work on the days that I don't commute. So those are the project updates. I frogged that Vernal top all the way down to the chain row. It's the crochet top from the 2012 magazine. And I just really haven't gotten going on it yet. And I've been kind of more setting myself up for socks. I did work on the 100-acre wood blanket for, I think, maybe a square. So probably not worth showing yet. And next week, I kind of don't anticipate being able to work on it very much because I'll be going to the office a couple times a week. So what else is going on? That's all the crafty stuff I have. So if that's what you're here for, thanks for sticking around. And let's just get on to the life stuff. It's been sunny. It's been nice. It's been very pleasant, like in the low to mid 70s. We are expecting a big weather change. We're expecting rain this weekend. So the first weekend in August, we're getting rain, which is actually quite unusual, but I'm happy about it. I had to go to physical therapy twice. I know I complained about my back earlier, last week probably. So I went to PT for that, and it was almost all the way healed up, but I just needed my physical therapist assistant to kind of get the final stage of mobility, and he helped me with that. And then it was like, okay, fine, see you later, until next time. Well, I didn't realize next time was going to be, was it Monday? No, it was Tuesday. So what happened is I was walking back from the barn on Saturday, just walking, and all of a sudden I got this stabbing pain in my left, kind of near my big toe. It was actually the toe next to it. And it's like, oh, what the heck? So, and then it would go away, but then it kept coming up, and it would come back in very inconvenient times, like when I'm walking downstairs. And I learned that wearing shoes helps. So, and normally, of course, this time of year I go barefoot a lot in the house. And, but no, can't do that. I need to wear at least some support. I have Birkenstocks on right now. And I don't know what the exact diagnosis was when I saw the physical therapist, but he gave me some stretches, and he noticed that, and this all really stems back from, it's my left leg. It stems from that fall last year when I fell off Odin and dislocated this shoulder, and also damaged, because I fell on my left side. So after my shoulder was healed, I noticed my left knee was bothering me. So I went to physical therapy for that for several weeks and got that on the right path. And then, hurt my back, left side, and then my toe. So, I just got to be a lot more aware of how I use my body these days, which I guess that's better than the alternative. The garden is doing okay. It is to an awfully slow start. So I've harvested some greens that tend to be perennial, like sorrel, which is kind of a lemon flavored green. So it's nice. I don't like a whole salad out of it, but it's a nice addition to some salad. Our raspberries and blueberries are doing really well right now, so we're eating a lot of those, and our apple trees are pretty laden with fruit, so excited about that when that comes up. And then my cherry tomatoes have been good. I started ignoring the peas. They're starting to get a little tough, and I hope to harvest some potatoes here soon. What else? So I talked about, I'm going to talk about the animals. And I went into a lot of detail about the cats already, so I don't have anything left to say about them. Odin, he's just about done with his 4-week program. It's been 6 days a week for the most part. And I'm going to, this weekend, I am going to figure out a schedule that's 5 days a week, because I do need to return to the office. So I'm gonna work on that. And those office days are very long days for me. So, you know, on those days, the horses basically get fed and kiss on the nose. Bragi, last week, I think we were trying to address his fear of cardboard issue, and that's been resolved. He's doing great with it. I have practiced with him. I actually videoed a practice with him and sent it to Ryan Rose and asked for some feedback, and he gave me some great feedback. There is hopefully a trainer who can help me with Bragi. This trainer is still in the UK, but he's supposedly coming over stateside soon, and maybe even to Washington State, which would be awesome. My trainer is doing a great job with Bragi, but she does not work out of a facility. She travels to her different clients' places and gives them lessons or works with their horses there. So she does not have a facility to start a horse, especially like Bragi, under saddle. So that's why she and I have been talking about sending Bragi to a trainer when the time comes. I don't know when that time will be. I'm kind of glad that this particular trainer that Ryan recommended isn't here yet, because then that takes some of the pressure off me. I can still take my time to think about it. I'm still hoping that Odin rehabs enough for me to do some light riding on him. I don't have great ambitions, you know, I just want to ride him. Maybe take a few dressage lessons, or if he's interested in doing cross rails or whatever, low-level eventing, something like that, I would love to do that with him. So I just hope he's up for it. So we will see. And then, you know, I'm looking at my notes, I still have my Stashdown plans, so I have a running list of patterns and the yarns I'm going to use for those. So if you're interested in that, feel free to check out my show notes. But that's all I have this week. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I'll catch up with you next time. Take care.